Okay, these are going to be your unit circle and special angle notes and also your table notes. In the unit circle, the radius always equals 1. And I'm going to do a couple and show you how to fill in your chart, and I'm hoping you can do the rest. First thing, this is a 30-degree angle right here. This is its terminal side. I'm going to draw a line perpendicular to the x-axis. The radius is 1. This is the radius of the circle. Hopefully you remember from geometry your 30, 60, 90 triangles. Short leg is 1/2. The long leg would be √3/2, which would make the coordinates of this point, you go √3/2 over and 1/2 up. Also, hopefully you remember from geometry that SOHCAHTOA is our way to remember sine and cosine. Cosine is the adjacent leg over the hypotenuse. So if this is your angle, your adjacent leg is √3/2 and your hypotenuse is 1. So if you did √3/2 and divided it by 1, dividing by 1 does not change anything. You don't even need it. So this right here is the cosine, making our x right here our cosine for a 30-degree angle, and our y, which is opposite and hypotenuse, because opposite is 1/2, hypotenuse is 1, 1/2 divided by 1. We don't need to divide by 1. So this right here is our sine. Now I'd like you to go to the back, and for 30 degrees, the radian measure, which we already learned how to convert, to go from degrees to radians, we multiply by pi/180. The cosine or x value for 30 degrees was √3/2. Our sine, or the y value we just did, was 1/2. Above cosine, I'd like you to write x. Above sine, I'd like you to write y. Tangent is y divided by x as a reminder. So if this one right here, my y was 1/2, and I'm dividing it by my x, which is √3/2. To divide by a fraction, I multiply by its reciprocal. 2's cross out. I'm left with 1/√3, which if we rationalize that denominator by multiplying by √3/√3, we get √3/3. That's our tangent. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So if I flip this guy right here, I get 2/√3, which I would have to fix or rationalize by multiplying by √3/√3, which makes this 2√3/3. So secant, I should write up here, it's the reciprocal of the x. Cosecant is reciprocal of the y. That's how we write reciprocal of the y. Reciprocal of 1/2 is 2. If tangent was y over x, cotangent is x over y. So if I take my x value here, which was √3/2, divide it by my y, which is 1/2. If I divide fractions, I multiply by the reciprocal. Reciprocal of 1/2 is 2. 2's crossed out. I'm just left with √3. So I just did 30 all the way across. I think I might do another one that might be a little easier, to be honest. 180. 180 we learned was pi degrees. If you think about where 180 is on the unit circle, is right here. Its coordinates are -1, 0. So its x is -1, its y was 0. Tangent we learned was y divided by x. So 0 divided by -1 is 0. Next column over is secant, which is reciprocal of the x. This was my x. Reciprocal of -1 is still -1. Cosecant is reciprocal of my y. My y here is 0, so the reciprocal of 0 is undefined or does not exist. Cotangent is x divided by y. This was my x. This was my y. -1 divided by 0 is undefined as well. So there is 2 rows of your table.